Maladaptive daydreaming is a common problem that can be caused by mental illness or simply be a symptom of a more serious problem. People who engage in excessive daydreaming often experience problems in their lives, such as feeling disconnected from reality or having low self-esteem. Effective treatment for maladaptive daydreaming can help these individuals regain control of their lives and improve their mental health. The vast majority have daydreamed off or had waking dreams sooner or later in their lives. It's not difficult to track down your brain strain when you ought to be focusing on some job that needs to be done. In any case, certain individuals use fantasies or daydreams as a method for managing day-to-day existence or engaging themselves. This sort of daydream, known as maladaptive daydreaming, can keep individuals from completely collaborating with individuals and living their lives. If you accept you are a maladaptive daydreamer, grasp the condition and figure out how to deal with it. Continue watching to learn more about how to deal with maladaptive daydreaming. Firstly, you need to understand the condition of daydreaming. The first action to be taken is decide whether your daydreaming is maladaptive. Since most everybody daydreams, you could expect that your continuous and point-by-point daydreams are typical. However, on the off chance that you have a maladaptive daydream, you're most likely troubled by your trouble controlling the daydreams. You may likewise be annoyed with how they disrupt your life, which can make a great deal of disgrace. You could likewise consistently battle to keep the daydreaming conduct stowed away. The expression maladaptive daydreaming was made in 2002. However, isn't yet perceived as an authority condition in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The second action to be taken is think about maltreatment as a potential reason. Maltreatment very early in life is normal in people who experience maladaptive daydreams, which begins as innovative daydreaming and turns out to be full-fledged escapist fantasies. The maladaptive idea of daydreams truly begins affecting victims in the early or pre-high schooler years. On the off chance that you were manhandled in battle with maladaptive dreaming, make sure to find support from a mental health professional. For instance, which begins as straightforward daydreaming and a kid might transform into definite dreams after any sort of misuse or traumatic experience starts. The third action to be taken is identify attributes of maladaptive daydreaming. Notwithstanding youth misuse, sensation components are one more shared attribute. These are much the time-dreary developments, such as throwing a ball or turning something in your grasp while daydreaming. Different attributes frequently include such a powerful urge to daydream that it's contrasted with a compulsion, unquestionably definite and complex daydreams, showcasing the daydreams. However, grasping the contrast between the real world and the daydreams. In contrast to schizophrenics or psychotics, trouble in satisfying just everyday tasks like eating, showering, resting due to the daydreams. The fourth action to be taken is start to identify and stay away from triggers. A trigger is an occasion, spot, or feeling that makes you start or return to maladaptive daydreaming. Distinguish your daydreaming triggers. You can make notes about when you daydream and what was going on just previously. For instance, you might see that when you go into a specific room, you have a portion of your best daydream, or you daydream when you're exhausted. Know about your triggers and make explicit arrangements to keep away from them. For example, in the event that you are attempting to stay away from your trigger spot in the house, your arrangement could seem as though this: do work in the kitchen rather than the room. Get out of the house, take a walk, go to a cafe to work rather than at home. By doing these, you are getting closer to dealing with maladaptive daydreaming. Secondly, dealing with maladaptive daydreaming. Number 1. Rest soundly. There are a few things you can do to further develop your rest quality. Keep away from caffeine or liquor before sleep time, since these can awaken you or obstruct your rest. You ought to likewise attempt to adhere to a rest plan by hitting the hay and awakening simultaneously every day. It might assist with making sleep time normal, such as cleaning your teeth, showering, and reading before bed. A routine can flag your mind that rest is not far off. Studies have shown that poor rest quality or insufficient prompts more incessant daydreaming. It's likewise been connected to disabled memory, more slow response time, weakened consideration, and meddling daydreaming. Number 2. Keep yourself busy during the day. Keep your psyche occupied and intellectually inaccessible for daydreaming. Pick tasks that take your psychological concentration, such as reading or crosswords. You could likewise draw in your brain and body simultaneously, such as playing basketball or dancing. Or on the other hand, you could participate in friendly exercises, such as getting espresso with a companion or going to a nearby random data occasion with co-workers. One hypothesis about daydreaming says that daydreaming is a self-relieving method used to quiet or placate the daydreamer. For this situation, take a stab at doing a self-mitigating or taking care of oneself action, such as preparing supper, doing yoga, or going with a companion for a pedicure. Number 3. Count how often you daydream to lessen episodes. You might battle to remove daydreaming totally. Instead, screen how frequently you discover yourself daydreaming during a specific measure of time. Then, at that point, advise yourself to lessen this number over the long run. For example, you could set the clock for 3 minutes and record how often you discovered yourself daydreaming during that time. Rehash the cycle until your number begins diminishing. From the start, you will be unable to get yourself by any means and the clock will go off in the center of a daydream. This is fine. Allow the clock to interfere with your daydreaming until you figure out how to screen the conduct yourself. Setting a clock is a decent type of self-checking that assists you with taking a functioning part in lessening daydreaming. Since it's a conduct change strategy, the outcomes can long endure. Number 4. Keep a diary to assist you with focusing. While there's little exploration on maladaptive dreaming and medicines, users in maladaptive web-based discussions report that journaling makes a difference. Journaling and recording considerations can assist you with ordering your mind and holding you back from slipping into daydreaming. Taking notes of your daydreams can assist you with slow bringing down and living at the time. Or on the other hand, you can diary about what daydreams genuinely mean for you and the job it plays in your day-to-day existence. Even though exploration is hard to know, while journaling can help maladaptive daydreamers, journaling has been displayed to dial back points of view, permit space for self-revelation, and alleviate strain. Number 5. Attempt to make your daydreaming useful. Whenever you've begun seeing your daydreams and what triggers them, start to focus on how they affect you. You might see that some cause you restless or distrustful while others get you lively or persuaded. Assuming that you now and again have similar daydreams, inspiring you to follow through with something, consider pursuing getting the objective of the dream going. For instance, perhaps your psyche regularly wanders to imagine you lived in a far-off country and held an alternate work. That appears as though a daydream could turn into a reality, assuming you do whatever it takes to move elsewhere and get another line of work. Number 6. Think about talking with a therapist. Since maladaptive daydreaming isn't yet identified as a condition and exploration, it is still in the beginning phases. There are no suggested prescriptions or medicines yet. Numerous clinical suppliers might not have known about it, but you might profit from meeting with a specialist or therapist who might have the option to assist you with managing the basic states of your daydreaming. For instance, if you wind up slipping into daydreaming at whatever point you become pushed or disturbed, you might have the option to work with a specialist to foster survival methods for stress or outrage. Number 7. Look for online communities. Maladaptive daydreaming is in the beginning phases in regards to mindfulness, examination, and treatment. The least demanding method for discussing the condition and getting tips is to find websites made by users with maladaptive daydreaming. These are the most dynamic in attempting to figure out the condition. Make sure to follow any clinical improvements that come from concentrating on maladaptive daydreaming. As additional examinations are finished, new medicines and survival strategies might open up. Daydreaming can be a useful tool for processing emotions and memories, but if it becomes excessive or maladaptive, it can be a sign of mental illness. Those who experience excessive or maladaptive daydreaming may experience problems with concentration, social interactions, and daily life. It can be difficult to identify the signs of maladaptive. I hope you enjoyed this video. Why not leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you want to learn more about the psychological health Click any of the videos on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.